Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. Welcome back again for this week's Explore Tulsa.
Trish, you ever do any horseback riding?
No, how about you?
When I was a kid, you better believe it, I'd ride for hours or until I ran out of quarters.
And it's about time we got you back in the saddle. And I know a place that's just as much fun as it is historic.
That can only mean that we're heading out to the town of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Population 6.
Salute! But there is plenty of good times out at the Flying G Ranch.
Well, my job is town clerk. Right now we have 6 people here. My oldest daughter, Erin, is the mayor. My husband's the dog catcher, and we've decided her husband needs to be the sheriff. So that's what's going on right now with Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've had 9 at the most and 2 at the fewest. My parents moved up here from Anadarko. They were both born in Anadarko, Indian Territory.
And George was actually the nephew of Charles Page, who founded Sand Springs. And so when he and his wife moved up here, Garnet, her horses didn't want to travel in trailers, so she rode her horses all the way from Anadarko all the way up here to the ranch. And the fact that, you know, the ranch has been here since 1932 makes it, you know, a pretty old ranch around.
Back in the day, it was late 50s, they were working on the Keystone Dam, and Tulsa and Sand Springs saw taxable opportunities out this way because of future development. So they were in a big fight to fence line annex the area, and my parents had let Boy Scout troops come out and camp and church groups have picnics, and they were going to lose that if they were in a township. You'd have to have permits and couldn't build a fire, etc. So he and a friend, they were both attorneys, applied for a town to be chartered here. Basically, it's the ranch, and that way we could set our own rules. And lo and behold, it was granted while they were fighting with one another and making headlines. We had the town of Tulsa, Oklahoma, so we're a thriving metropolis. What we do is we sell seed stock, so if someone has a nice herd of cattle, they'll buy a good bull from us to increase the muscle and the meat producing capabilities of their cattle, or they'll buy a set of heifers from us, you know, and then go into the meat production business. So we keep records, really tight records on, we know the genetics for generations back on these cattle. The color of their tag tells me at a glance who their sire was. So the big number on the bottom is their individual identification number. The next number is their birthday, and the top number is their mother's number. So just looking at their tag, we can tell how old the animal is, who his parents are, so that when people come to buy the calves and look at them, we can tell them really quickly without having to put them down the chute, you know, and individually check their numbers. My oldest daughter has an equestrian facility here. She boards horses for people. She does trail rides and she gives lessons.
I loved it. I always knew I would come back here and do something on the ranch. After college, I worked for a few barns and then built my own barn and started boarding and giving lessons and trail rides. When you board, you know, a lot of people live in town or something, or some people, even if they do have a place, they still don't have the room to ride on. There's an indoor arena that they can ride in, there's an outdoor arena that they can ride in, a round pen, and then what's a big draw for here and us is that there's 2,000 acres to trail ride on. So most of our boarders they love the trails, they just like to come out and enjoy their horse and relax and have what they call horse therapy. And so there's not a lot of barns around that have that kind of acreage tied to it where you don't have to trailer somewhere to go ride.
Well, I think it's just the topography of the ranch that makes them unique. I mean, we have valleys that we go into, we have streams that we go through, there's mountains to climb or hills to climb. So it's just the topography of the ranch that is so unique and so close to downtown Tulsa.
We also raise pecans. Some of the trees behind us are pecan trees. We also have 750 acres of trees in Rogers County. And we like to say that we keep my husband out with the nuts and the squirrels because his job every day is to go take care of the pecan orchard. And we have a little shop on the ranch that's open every day, November and December. And in the off season, we're open at one afternoon a week. About half our orchard's paper shell and about half is native. Can't beat the flavor of those natives, but a lot of people want the bigger ones. They're just easier to pick out. We also offer them shelled, but some people like to pick their own out. But the newer varieties really have good flavor. Well, you have to have a good relationship with the man upstairs, because everything in agriculture is a blessing from God. It's by His grace that we exist. We're dependent on the weather. We're the biggest gamblers in the world. You're dependent on the market. You're dependent on people you've never met or seen in a state you've never been to buy your product. It's an awesome feeling just to walk out the door and think, what a wonderful day this is, because it doesn't matter if it's hot or cold, wet or dry, we love it. It's our lifestyle. It's the best place in the world to raise kids. We try to share when we can with other folks, and it's a nice place to grow up.